I just want to celebrate another day of life. Peace be with you. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you're entertained by it, because I'm never going to do it again. Hold on to that moment like you would hold on to a precious memory. So let's talk about acquiring guitars at a swap meet. Does that sound like something we can do? All right, let's talk about this guitar. Now, have you ever made plans or something and they went awry just for some factor that you didn't even factor into the factor? You know what I'm saying? I plan to go out to Columbus all week long in my mind. You know, I'm going to Columbus Flea Market. I have to make this plan here, do this, do that. Everything's ready to go. You know what I mean? We can do it, man. We get up early. You know what I mean? Get all cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? My money out. Click, count it. Get something to eat. You know, so all kinds of things in my mind. So it's kind of far. It's kind of far from my house. And there's like a Six Flags right, with like halfway distance. You pass by Six Flags. So right as I get past Six Flags, I'm going to Columbus. I'm going to Columbus. All of a sudden, I started seeing rain come on my car. So come on, man. It was like a beautiful sunny day. You know what I mean? It was when I was at Six Flags going by. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, I see it was getting cloudy. Get the fuck out of here! It was rain down here and it's sunny over there. It's bullshit. You know what I mean? I said, well, maybe it's gonna be like sunny when I get to Columbus. Yeah. So I must have traveled the rain cloud all the way out to the flea market, man. I got there, I was about to cry, man. I was like, I'm just too proud to turn around, man. So I got there and the ground's starting to get a little bit moist, and I was like, man, I see people leaving and shit with all kinds of treasures, like, ah, ha, ha, ha. This fucking sucks, man. This feeling sucks, man. See, that nobody out in the back tables. Everybody's out in the front, like the 4 or 5 tables of people that were still there. I was like, this is bullshit, man. Bullshit, man. So I went around like there's a covered like horseshoe kind of shaped shit. I went around that, you know what I mean? I seen all kinds of people selling like the regular stuff, you know what I mean? Squishies and fucking phone cases and fake clones and shit, you know what I mean? Weed, I don't know what they're selling over there, man. All kinds of weird stuff, man. And I get to like two like rows of tables, man. And all of a sudden I realize, oh, it's not really raining. You know what I mean? People starting to get lively again. People getting alive. Frampton comes alive, man. So I went down to one row. Nothing. You know what I mean? Couple cool like little, you know what I mean? Little boxes, like knickknacks and miscellaneous stuff. You know what I mean? Miscellaneous stuff. I like that. You know what I mean? So one box like guitar parts, but it wasn't really good stuff. This guy was like, what I mean, off his rocker, what he thought his stuff was worth. You know what I mean? So anyway, I get to like the last row and I see like a box truck, and I see like on the ground like must have been like 40 guitars, man. I was like, what? All kinds of acoustic guitars, primarily classical guitars from like the 50s and 60s. All kinds of weird brands, made in countries you don't see every day. You know what I mean? Mostly from Spain and a couple from Japan. You know what I mean? But all kinds of things, just really, really like strange brands that I never even seen. I see guitars like every minute of my life. I see a different guitar. It's craziness. I see guitars so often, frequently. I didn't see any of these brands before. You know what I mean? Some of them stretch back to the 30s, probably. Some were like the 80s and 90s even, but there were just so many of them. Looks like this guy had acquired like like a luthier lot. You know what I mean? Some crazy old collection of shit, and this dude probably kicked the bucket, man. Couldn't pay storage fee, something, man. And this guy acquired like all these guitars, man. So I saw this particular instrument. I looked in it and it had like a weird Spanish label. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is definitely made in South America. You know, so it had some problems. It has a big crack running down here. You know what I'm saying? It's got like, it doesn't look like it was even finished really. Like, this is the worst type. This is like hanging over almost a millimeter, some of these frets. Like, a terrible job on that. You know what I mean? It's obviously like a late 60s piece of garbage. You know what I'm saying? Got some nice lacquer checking. There's something about it, the weird Spanish label. I was like, this is from South America. I know the way people roll down here. You know what I mean? It's from a weird country that you don't see every day, man. You know what I'm saying? I knew this. It says It says Guitarra Española Iberia bajo licencia Vordini, meaning it's a Spanish guitar, an Iberia Spanish guitar, which is a pretty well known brand. You see that around, made under license by Vordini. Whatever that means, you know what I mean? I just, you know what I mean, snapped this up. I found another guitar made in Spain. I was like, I hope this dude doesn't want too much money, you know what I mean? Sometimes these people get crazy. And I go to him, and he's like, yeah, he counted his money and shit. I was like, hey, what's up, brother, man? Good rain stop, you know what I mean? Yeah, good rain stop, my man. Good rain stop, good rain stop. He's like, what about these guitars, my man? You know what I'm saying? I'll take it off your hands. You know, so you don't have to go back in the rain and shit with these guitars. And he's like, yeah, I looked at him like, ooh, this is a nice guitar. Ooh, this guitar's worth $1,000. I was like, he's like, how about for both of them, $150? I was like, how about both of them? What are you talking about, man? I just put him down nicely. I said, this guy's out of his fucking mind. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, peace be with you. Well, how much do you want to pay for it? I was like, I want to pay like $10 a piece, man. You know what I mean? We're just too far apart. I always see that too far apart thing on like Pawn Stars, you know what I mean? So I use that line a lot. But like I was starting like, you know what I mean, get dejected. I went all the way out there. I got nothing. I got nothing. That whole like, little joint out there. So I'm walking around. I went inside even, like moping around down. I was like, I'm gonna go back to that guy and I'm gonna offer him $30 for that one from, you know what I mean, the weird one with the strange South American label on there. You know what I'm saying? See what he says. So I get back there to his car, and all the guitars are there, and he wasn't there. I could have taken any of them I wanted. You know what I mean? And I seen one of his little neighbors there. I said, hey man, what happened? What happened to dude? You know what I mean? He's like, fuck him. I don't know who the fuck that guy is, and don't fuck you too. And I was like, ooh. You know what I mean? And the other guy's like, I think he went to take a shit. You know, I'm watching his guitar, so don't you take nothing. Fancy white boy from the city. I was like, all right. You know what I mean? Let's all be calm. You know what I mean? I was like moping around, walking around, and I see him like, you know, wandering around, adjusting his zipper. You know, I'm coming back up the aisle. I was like, there's my man. Don't look too desperate, man. I come up to him. I was like, hey, man, brother, man. And I had this in my hand. I was like, you know how to change a heart, man. We got to offer like even $40 for it, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's do meet in the middle of 25. You know what I mean? 25, man. You know, we haggle forever and ever. You know what I mean? It seemed like almost like an eternity. So I finally got him to agree $30 on this guitar. He's like, and which was the other guitar you wanted? By then I was like emotionally spent, man. I was like, fuck the other guitar I wanted, and I just like took this guitar and I went home and I cried in my pillow. I drank some chamomile tea. I was like traumatized from that experience, man. It's traumatized. Because usually I get whatever I want at the flea market. Hey, Chico, $2 on that fucking guitar now, motherfucker. This time it was like I gotta be like, please, my friend, I need this guitar. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about Vordini. Real quick, this guitar is made in Uruguay. You believe that? Uruguay? Vordini is an Italian sounding name, and that's not the reason for that. Basically, right before the Second World War and right after the Second World War, Uruguay came into being, really, so to speak. I don't want to knock that shit down before I even talk too much about it. You know what I'm saying? Right during Hitler's rise to power, all the people that didn't want to be around Hitler, you know, hey man, Uruguay, what's up, man? Uruguay just handing out passports, no name on it. Come here, man, you know what I'm saying? And then right after the war, you know what I mean, handing out the passports again, all Hitler's people, like, here, come on, man. So ironically, the people like they fleeing Germany after the Second War, fleeing justice, went in and like sort of like lived in like interspersed with like people that they were like originally sort of, you know what I mean, traumatizing. You know what I mean? It's weird. They all came back together, man. Again, they made a peaceful life together. But anyway, Vordini, Italians of some sort that showed up in the Canelones province. The Santa Lucia. Santa Lucia is a big, you know, Italian seaport. So I'm sure that's what they call it, Santa Lucia. I think before the Second World War it was called like Vigo Bajo Moreno, something like that, some Spanish name. But they renamed it like after the Italian port. And this Santa Lucia, one of the industries there was the Vordini accordion and guitar works. Came in like, you know, about 10 years after the end of, you know what I mean, Second World War. In the mid 50s, you start seeing accordions made. They're first called Santa Lucia. That was the first brand you see. And then Santa Lucia grew, you know what I mean? Like, fuck this Santa Lucia, man. I put my own fucking name on there. It's Vordini from now on, man. So he started seeing Vordini on there. And then, you know, in the 50s, the guitar craze started coming in. So it would say accordions and guitars on the label. And this, of course, now the Iberia, that trademark that belonged to B&J New York, man. Bugleson Jacobs, man. Look it up, man. It's true, man. So it must have been like mid 60s. They were like, you know what I mean? Our man, you know what I'm saying, was down there. Was like Eddie Finger, right? That was B&J. That was like Fred Rosenwald. Like, hey, man. ¿Cuántas guitarras puedes hacer por nosotros este año, amigo? You know what I'm saying? And they would let people put like their like little brand name on the label too. We've seen that before in our old episodes, man. You can watch the old episodes, man. I don't have time to talk about every old episode, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm already wasted all kinds of time talking about this fucking story. Vordini, you know what I'm saying? By 1969, I found like a government, you know, publication from Uruguay talking about the factory, and there's a picture like, you know, 4 or 5, you know, Italian-looking guys in the workshop. You know what I mean? He said, yeah, our business in the past year is like half. We used to make 800 guitars a month in the mid 60s. Now we're making like 400. We're lucky. By the mid 70s, they were done, man. They're gone, man. No accordions, man. No Weird Al. Nothing, bro. Nothing. Just silence and Uruguay shit. You know what I mean? They play a lot of football down there. That's known as soccer to you guys, man. Unless you're Latino, peace be with you. Pos contigo. I'm gonna flip you around. We'll look at it. This needs a round over. The crack needs to be filled. You know what I mean? Looks like somebody recently, you know what I'm saying, put the bridge back on there. Did an okay job, but kind of messy. So I'm gonna show that to you. All right? I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna flip you around in a peaceful manner. So here we are, slapped out, the Uruguayan piece. I just want to show you a little evidence. We don't have to go all the way to the reading room. I already got it all out for you here. This is the Vordini workshop. Fabrication of Guitars Vordini, right about 1969. You see that this is, his name was Adolf Suarez. And his son Benito Mussolini Sanchez and Little Hitler. No, I don't know what these people's names are, man. I'm just making shit up, man. But they're hard at work, you know what I'm saying, building guitars in the traditional European style. And that's the way they rolled, man. That's the way they rocked. So here we are, man, in the great old American birthday land. I don't know what that refers to, but this guitar's got some problems, man. Some of them are superficial. Some of them are superficial, man. Now look at this, man. This is the most superficial is, it looks like this bridge has been, you know what I mean, flapped off at one time and fallen off. This came from an order that B&J, pretty much, who owned Iberia, as we talked about, gave a huge order in the mid-60s. This probably came, you know, in 66, all half-assed, half-glued. This flapped right off. Now, it looks like it was glued on many moons ago, using some kind of epoxy. They got epoxy all over the fucking place. They got some epoxy here, here, here. I think there's one on here. I forget where it all is, but you can look at it and see it, man. See, it's all over the place there. That's the bad news. The good news is it looks like the bridge actually fixed pretty well. This looked like this was a work in progress. The other sort of, you know, you can see there are cracks all over the place. BTW. The other thing is there is no round over ever done on this thing. Ow. Ever. Look at that. You can see uncut frets, untreated frets just hanging right over there, precariously hanging over that, dangling over that fretboard. That's very, very ugly, man. It's painful too to play. You know what I'm saying? And this, you could use this, the neck to this guitar to saw through wood. You know what I mean? Saw through my hand, man. Ow. I'm gonna get workers' comp for this show, man. So we got to do a round over. You know what I mean? It's made out of beautiful woods. But the most important problem here, man, is this, man. This is the most pressing shit, man. You see that? There's like some wood like missing straight out. So this has got to be pushed in. You know what I'm saying? Pushed in and pushed correctly. So we're gonna have to suspend this guy like upside down between two chairs and just super clamp this guy down and put two pieces of wood behind it. There's like a little section here, and then there's a brace, and then there's a section behind here where I can put a big piece of wood and a big piece of wood. Now the best way to do that, like I was saying, is to sit this between two chairs like this, upside down, so I can just put those things where they belong and do all the clamp work upside down. You know what I mean? Do all the clamp work upside down. So let's get this guy clamped upside down and glued. You know what I mean? That's the first thing we're going to do, man. We're not going to waste too much time. You know, last week's episode was very, very long. And we didn't really do too much at all except for look at a whole bunch of little tiny guitars. Right? So let's get this guy clamped up and glued. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Little pieces of wood in here. Glued to the back, man. I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so we got these two wooden slats cut. Now what we got to do, if you take a look here, see it. See this? How this is risen above? This got to be pushed down. You know what I'm saying? See how this is sort of like uneven? This has got to be pushed down. There's got to be two braces put behind here. We have this one brace for back here, right? And that goes behind that little thing. And we're going to push that guy down, right? And this guy, who has this little top cut off, goes right here so that we don't see him. But we know he's going to be working. This is nice and flat back there. And then we'll worry about filling this in just a second. I have a special revolutionary idea. Let me show you what it looks like all clamped. I just wanted to give you that further update. You know what I mean? Because some of you are like, what's he going to do? I don't understand his explications. He didn't do a very good job, this guy. He's talking like a city folk. See you in a minute. So there it is, folks. VIP view. You see that? Yeah, man. It's all clamped the fuck up. Let's let this set about 10 hours, man, and I'll come back at it, man. We'll come right back to where we are right now. See you in a minute. All right, so it's the second day of the clamping. I brought it outside, actually. I don't want it to get totally dry because this is going to be under a lot of tension once we take these clamps off. You know what I'm saying? A lot of tension. We want to make sure those little, you know, those little glue patches are totally dry. So we're going to leave it out here all day. Bring it back down the basement very carefully this evening. You know what I mean? At dusk. And I'll see you in a day or two. You know what I'm saying? Maybe two. Alright. So we've had it sitting down here for another day or so. 4 days actually total. It's clamped up, man. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to unclamp it very carefully. Very, very carefully. And we're just going to bring it outside and let it set out in the sun for a little while. It's about 100 degrees almost today outside. But it's not very humid, you know what I'm saying? It's like a dry kind of hot. So this is, you know what I mean? We want to make sure that there's no movement on the crack. You know what I mean? Make sure it's done. Just get the air, you know what I mean, around it. You know, let the guitar breathe a little bit. So let's unclamp it and head outside. See you, you know, after we've been sitting outside for about, you know, 3-4 hours. Peace be unto you. Alright, so this is like half sitting in the sun. I'm sort of following the line of shadow on the deck here. So, what I want to do now is bring it downstairs because there's something that I want to address. But generally I just pump this kind of thing with glue. But it's kind of nice to have like wood on wood sometimes, you know what I mean? So let's go down into the lab and stuff some wood fibers in there. You know what I mean? You can see where like the piece is behind there. You can see it's a little bit wet all the way in the bottom there. I'll see you down in the cellar real quick for some last minute cosmetics. So you see these little deficits in there, man? These little deficits in the wood. I want some wood on wood. So I got some veneers here. I got this at the swap meet. You can see these been sitting on top of each other forever. There's a piece of looks like maybe birch on the bottom there. A piece of walnut veneer. Looks like some maybe spruce. Some little dirty spruce, man. Spruce nonetheless. We're gonna stuff these little crevices. Also, I got a little piece of a tongue depressor over here where I'm sort of pulling off the little fibers. Fibers, guys, for things that we can't cut. You know what I'm saying? For these little tiny cracks right in the bottom here. See those guys? We're to stuff them in there. See when we're all stuffed out, man. Stuffed in. Stuffed toad. See that? We want to fill you in, sonny. We'll get the booster sheet off you. We'll get you fixed up there, boy. So we're back outside. We stuffed that crack full of little pieces of wood, man. You can really see it. But it's still wet. So we're gonna let it out. Cool shade here. Nice hot day. Whole afternoon, man. I'll see you after that's accomplished, man. Peace be with you. Alright, so we're inside. It's dry. What we're going to do now is we're going to mix up some acrylic paints. Well, acrylic paints, man. Brand new needle brush. And we're just going to hide this crack. Hide it, man. No crack here, man. No crack. You can see you see the wood at the top. Some of you see the glue at the top. We're just going to put a little band-aid on that. You're not going to see nothing. See in a moment. Alright, so we got it all masked off and, you know what I mean, filled in. You can't even see the crack now. Just a little bit of mixing, people, a little bit of mastering and mixing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this little 3M post-it note and we're going to take the sticky part here, because this is like a little bit, you know what I'm saying, there's a little bit of cracking in here, man, checking and stuff. And sometimes you put, even if it's real low tack tape, it's going to pull that little stuff off. So we're going to cut a little piece so only the tiny little crack is exposed. And we're going to take some, you know what I mean, this old nitro lacquer, man. This is nitro cellulose lacquer. I've actually thinned it out a little tiny bit. That's what it is, man. See that nitro cellulose lacquer, man? That's what it is, man. It's clear. And we're just going to bring it back outside after we did that. You know what I'm saying? Let it just dry. Cool down. Peace be with you. And there it is, people. Not bad at all. Especially if you're up here. Hey man, look at my guitar from Uruguay, bro. You're gonna want to take those tapes off as soon as you put that lacquer on there. A little bleed right through any kind of tape, you know what I mean? Stick to it. You know what I'm saying? Just a helpful hint. Like Eloise, man. You know what I'm saying? So we got like another 3-4 hours before the sun goes down. Nice, hot, dry, summer, you know, late afternoon. So let's just let it chill outside. Bring it inside. You know what I mean? It's got some things curing still. You caring for Karen? I'm Karen. Peace be with y'all. My sills friends. So the dough. So it's the next day. We're inside. Everything's cooled down. Cracks like a long gone memory, man. So let's go back over here, and I sort of just took my fingernail and pulled some of this shit off of here. Kind of look like that foam, you know what I mean, that ceiling foam. Anyway, man, we got this big ugly crack, man. That's the only real crack I could find other than that other fucking shit that we just fixed, man. Then I take this old douche ball, man, a little bit of tat burn, man. You douche it in like this, and then you take the little cup and slip it in there, man. You'll see, man. Just want to close that in, man. You know what I'm saying? Close that in, my good friend. See you after we're all closed in. I'll show you wet and I'll show you dry. Alright, so it's a nice beautiful day. Let's brought it outside, you know what I'm saying? Nice and wet, man. See when it's dry. There it is, man. It's all dry now. You can see real close that it's all filled in. It's all filled in, there's no deficit. You know what I'm saying? And when you do the little tap on it, it sounds like one piece of wood. It's got a deeper, more bassy thump than like, you know, like a single piece. You know what I'm saying? It just feels like one piece now, man. What can I say, man? Anyway, so what we're gonna do now, we got this real ugly like blotch here, that epoxy. Now we see there's a lot of checking in this lacquer. We don't really want to mess with that. That's kind of cool, but this is kind of ugly, and it's all over the place. You know what I mean? Everywhere on this guitar. We already went over that. We talked about it at length. So what we're gonna want to do is just take a little tiny balled up piece of steel wool, stay within, you know what I mean, the parameters of this little splotch. You know what I'm saying? And just try to take it down a little grade. And then we're gonna take a little tiny piece of square of, you know what I'm saying, wet dry, you know what I mean, high grade grit sandpaper and oil sand over top of this area and around here. And all around the whole smickable schmalabala. So see when that's done. We're done. Me. So now I want to show you live in person what's supposed to happen. Once you use the little tiny bit of the steel wool, then you do the, you know, oil sanding on it. Then you hit it up with this, man. Old rubbing compound, man. Just very little rubbing compound. Now remember, this epoxy has been on here for like, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years. You just rub this shit in here. And you see it catching under the epoxy. You see it just starting to catch into the epoxy. And now, it just comes right off. See that? Comes right off. Now, this is a secret, a Bobby G patented secret. You know what I'm saying? That's ugly old epoxy that's been on here million years, people. Million years. Let me see that, man. The Bobby G treatment, man. See, it's coming right off. Something to do with that oil. Gets under there. You know what I mean? It perforates little holes. Starts expanding and stuff, man. And then you're going to immediately hit it up with the rubbing compound. And you go through this, you know what I mean, for a little while. So it's all gone. You know what I'm saying? And we can sit here and do this for a good 20 minutes. But you get the idea. Don't go through the lacquer, though. I'll show you when it's all sheeny, shiny. But you know what I'm saying? It's pretty much, for the most part, gone. Yeah, little Bobby tip, man. Peace be with you, man. Secret patent. And there it is, folks. It's all gone. See that? This was where, you know what I mean, it originally had been messed up, I guess, from when the guy reset the bridge. Yeah, but all, you see that? And it's still got, like, marginal lacquer checking. You know what I mean? Underneath where all that shit was. You know what I mean? There's a big chunk of it right in the middle here. Oh, God, man. That's an amazingly hard feat to remove epoxy from, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Straight up old-fashioned lacquer. It's been there for a million years. Put a little tiny quick run of shellac over here because that was like bare wood. That wasn't my fault. Again, that was underneath that epoxy as it was, man. So we got it all, you know what I mean? Very, very hard feat to do, people. I'm the best, man. What can I say? So let's work on these fretboard here, man. All these frets, man. Let's do a nice fret job on it, especially. Most importantly, let's do a round over on it. What you see, the pre-round over like shots, just to refresh your mind, man. Look at that beautiful wood, man. Almost looks like koi wood from Hawaii, man, doesn't it? Doesn't it remind you of that, people? All right, so that's the pre-fret job. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna snap my fingers. The fret jobs would be all done, and all those little, you know what I mean, pieces of metal fragments would be in my hand. 1, 2, 3, and peace be. I just want you to see what a round over looks like, people. You see that? They come down or like a round end. They don't extend over the fretboard at any juncture. That's what I'm talking about, man. Smooth like glass, man. You hear how it's not catching on my skin? You hear that? You hear it? Good. I want you to remember that shit forever. So we're pretty much done, man. Unfortunately, you know, we gotta glue this back on. These never survive like a rigorous fret job. This was definitely a rigorous. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to clean it off real good with some old phony pledge, man. You get real pledge if you're really feeling good, man. You know what I'm saying? I treat my baby to the finest. The real pledge. I can't, you know what I mean? He'll be, I can't be held responsible for what the real pledge has in it, though, man. Who knows, man? And then we're gonna put a little bit of moms on top of everything, man. Once we get it all clean, we want to get it all shiny, man. Usually I would take 2 videos. First I would do this video, then I do this video, Sometimes I do a little bit of this video, man. But I just, You know what I'm saying? I want you guys to learn, live, love, man. And then I'm going to clamp this guy on after we're all shiny, man. Right? So those are the things we got left, man. That's what we got left, man. All right, my friend Mussolini II. Let me see your shine. Shine, smuggle fun. Alright, so we've come to the end of a very long day. It's nice and shiny. You can see the shine. Just me moving around the guitar, so I don't even have to shake it around like a fucking rattle. You know what I'm talking about. Had this guy clamped. Good couple hours. We could probably take that clamp off. Let's take that clamp off carefully. Some nice bone nut, man. Solid, man. So that's it, man. Pretty much done. Done with me. Let's put these cheap. These are seriously nondescript strings from China, man. You know what I mean? They're starting to get at a point where you can, pay a little bit less if you don't have it packaged specially, and they just give you a little bundle. So this is made, looks like the 13th of March this year. Very new strings indeed. I keep talking about how great these Chinese strings are and blah, blah, blah. And I waited like a million years on the last video, the ukulele video, for those Chinese strings to come. And, I had to get new ones from China, and I put them on there. They look really good, you know what I'm saying? And then I went to tune it. As soon as I'm doing like the little command performance after the glam shots, the fucking string pops off, man. What? Breaks right in the middle, man. Flawed, man. It's a flawed string to begin with, man. So I reached into the big bin. I had a bin of ukuleles, you know what I mean? And one of them actually had that same string, and it's still on there from like 70 years ago. And I just pulled it off there, and I put it on there, and it sounded just as good as the rest of them, man. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to have like a vintage set of Uruguayan strings. You know what I mean? Just put on this fucking thing. Anyway, I'll put them on tomorrow morning. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? We'll take care of that then. You know what I mean? Time to go, man. Peace be with you. I'll see you at the glamour shots. Look at that, man. It's got like a hump back. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of European guitar making. That's the Viennese school of guitar lutherie, I believe, man. The hump back, man. I know another guy from Vienna. Mein Schweigen Schwiegenhorn Wien Stagen. I'll tell you though, people. A little bit of refinement on the, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Round over. And the frets are all nice and everything, and you know what I'm saying? The lacquer's all cleared up of all kinds of nonsense, and there's just some regular cracks that look like they've been, like, you know what I mean, there for a million years and well attended to. You know what I mean? It's like a difference, like feeling like a piece of flea market garbage to feeling like a good instrument, you know what I'm saying? And that's something I like, man. A good instrument, a nice instrument. This guy's made in Uruguay, man. Santa Lucia province, man. You know what I'm saying, man? Almost forgot, man. By Vordini, friends of Vordini, man. You know what I'm saying? They disappeared in the early 70s, Vordini, man. So, just last night, before I put these strings on, I showed you these Chinese strings, man. I was like, I put these Chinese strings. And this morning at the flea market, I just so happened to come across a big old cachet of old ass strings. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to lay it on you this week because we've already talked so much. So I got something to talk about next week in particular. So now we know there's going to be another episode next week. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about that. So this may not be the Chinese strings, or it may be the Chinese strings. It may, you know what I mean? Who knows, man? You'll find out next week. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Peace be with you. See you in 1 second, my good people. from Vordini. The Vordini Iberia, made for B&J. 60s treat, people. A very light European sounding guitar. Not a really great guitar. With the mystery strings. Are they new or are they old? Well, we will find out. Not bad sounding though. Not bad at all, man. Man, that's... Sounds like a little robot on that string, man. I'm not that bad. I don't remember what day it was. I don't remember what time it was. All I know is that you fell in love with you, and all my dreams come true. I'll be spending time with you. All of you more today than yesterday, but not as much as tomorrow. I love you more today than yesterday, but darling, not as much as tomorrow. Spiral Staircase, man. I don't know what happened to that band, man. Wash your hands. Next week we'll find out more about the strings from our Vordini friends. South America people, peace be with you. God rest you. God bless you. Have a great summer, man. You know what I'm saying? Have a great time. Enjoy your life, man. Peace be with you.